We lived on Rector Street. I moved in on September 1, 2001.
Oh.
10 days into my tenure, I was woken up because all the windows glass blew in.
Hey.
Like our whole apartment exploded.
Shit.
And like,
Thank God your son wasn't with you.
I was like, thank God he wasn't with me. And I just remember like panicking and like putting on shorts and they're like, they're up and they're like, what do we do? And I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And they're like, do not leave the house. It's the worst thing you can do. And I was like, all right, fuck that. I'm leaving. Like, good luck, guys. And I bailed and I went outside and it was just like, it was like PTSD is something I don't, especially because I'm friends with a lot of former soldiers. My kid brother's a veteran. I don't use that lightly, but like I could describe for you in the most vivid detail. Like if I could export this, if I could draw, I could paint for you a frame by frame, 24 frames per second, what I experienced for the preceding 4 hours with the most vivid smells, tastes, colors, everything. Like stepped outside of my apartment and I just see someone frantically, not in uniform, a human, just fucking dressed like you or I, just running around frantically with a stack of sheets this high, taking the sheets with one hand, wringing it out, and then dropping them. And I'm like, what the fuck is that person doing? And as they drop them, they'd turn red. And I realized they were dropping those sheets on remains that had fallen. And when I realized that, my brain just, nothing could compute.
Remains of human beings.
That had fallen from the plane.
To
Dead
mark
bodies
them.
To cover them for dignity's sake.
Sheets. I thought you were talking about like sheets of like
no,
loose leaf paper.
sheets, bed sheets.
Oh,
white
my
cloth bed
God.
sheets. And like my brain, like now I couldn't understand that.
Yeah.
And then I definitely couldn't understand. And I just like got on my bike and like I had my video camera and I was like trying to bike away and I like stopped and I just see like all these cops running in and I see like paper falling and it's like, could not make sense of it. And then like a fireman just starts screaming. I'm like, get out of here. Like for my own safety, it was not being a jerk. And I was like, start biking away and then just like heat, like you never imagine, just throws me off my bike. And that was the second plane hitting. Wow. Like skinned my knees, get up. And like race to Van's apartment on 14th Street and I like get Van and like what do we do? And I was like, we gotta go to the hospital. Like we gotta go help people. And like we went to St. Vincent's. St. Vincent's, rest in peace. This has been closed down and turned into overpriced condominiums. And we were like out front there and like helping. And I just remember like no one knew what to do. And I remember like the cops showed up and the cops were like, who's in charge, who's in charge? And I was like, what's the question? And they're like, what do we do? And I was like, I need you to shut down that street, shut down traffic here, only let the ambulances through, create a way for the ambulance to come through. You have flares? They're like, they're in the trunk. I was like, get the flares. And I was literally on New York 1, like fucking commanding the situation as like a 20-year-old outside of St. Vincent's because there was just nothing. And I remember like the one thing I was like is like, we have to start lining shit up. And they're like, we're out of cots. And I was like, get rolling chairs, put sheets over, line them up. We had like all this. They're like, everybody was ready. And no one came. Like there was no one to be saved. And it was like, that's where I was standing. Like, you know that view on 6th Ave, looking straight down at the World Trade Centers? They're right there. And I just like stand there in slow motion watching them fall. And it was like CGI before CGI. It was like so like this flower. There was like a beauty to it that was like, it was like you're watching and you're like, I don't know what I'm seeing, but that's not real.
It's
like,
too crazy for you to even comprehend.
Did you film any of it? Like,
I mean, I have a couple shots of me biking away, and I've made videos about it, but like I'm biking away and the camera's behind me. At one point in time, I switch hands and it crosses my face. And you can go through it frame by frame and you just see like the terror on my face, So in any event, that was cool.
And I think that moment affected the way you viewed creation or like the way you lived your life after that? Like it is a traumatic
how does that
event.
change you?
No, I mean, I remember like vividly calling like my dad, like I called like my kid's mom, like crying. I was like, get him out of school. And she's like, he's fine. He's fine. And like I called my dad and my dad was like, it's time to come home. It's time to come back to Connecticut. And I just remember like being like, what are you talking about? Like, how dare you? I'm like, no, I'm not coming back. And then I called the husband of the cousins that we lived with because he was sort of a mentor. And he was like, it's time to come back. And I was like, I'm not coming back. And I was like, no, this is it. Like, I can make it through this, then I'm good. Like, I'm good.
And
then that was when I got like the SRO and like I started to figure it out after that. Like, it started to make sense after that.